Today I'll be reacting to another abaandpreach video. The title of this one is called Kevin Samuels Was Right. Adam Levine's wife admits she's fine with him exercising options. So this is part 3 to part 2, which I just watched like 20 minutes ago. I put that out as well. So feel free to check out my reaction to that. I think this story it's for sure wild, but it doesn't surprise me. No aspect of it surprises me, to be honest. People are messy.
So this is the final update in the Adam Levine saga. There's a part 3, and I gotta say there's a part 3 for one reason only.
For what?
So remember what I was telling you about when we had that conversation towards the end about, okay, quick recap. If you aren't aware, Adam Levine was out here apparently messaging everybody in their DMs, telling them how hot and beautiful they are. Some people feel like that's cheating. Me personally, I just think he's being very complimentary and positive.
The part I found most disrespectful was not necessarily the infidelity piece, which of course is disrespectful if your partner is unaware that you're engaging in that kind of behavior. But the part I didn't like was when he said that he would name his child after the girl. I think that's really creepy. Mentioning your kid in the same breath as your mistress, let alone joking around about how you're gonna name your kid after that woman.
Shout outs to Adam. Out here spreading that body positivity. Hey bitch, you hot as fuck. Who doesn't feel better about their body when they hear that from Adam?
Oh, okay, is that the meme? Is that the meme? Okay, I saw a meme yesterday where it said, fuck, your body is so absurd. And I was wondering where that came from and what that was a reference to, but now it's starting to make sense. Though the thing about it, though, is it was a picture of an alligator and then the message from Adam Levine, and I was like, all right, what is going on?
People allege that he was cheating. One TikToker alleges that. Adam apologizes. Now, I came in with the take that I don't think this man was cheating for one simple reason. His wife knows, and his wife is fine with it. Now, this was just me speculating, but judging by how a lot of Hollywood relationships work, that's what I believed. Now, update recently, the wife, who's a Victoria's Secret model named Behati Prinsloo, okay, she came out and said that she's not bothered by what happened, but she's more bothered by how it all came out and it was embarrassing publicly.
That's exactly what the fuck you said.
That's what I was saying.
That's exactly what you said. That's verbatim. You said...
So they probably have some sort of like open arrangement, but since it's looked down upon in like mainstream society to be in an open relationship, they were probably just keeping it under wraps. Now, she's saying she's not bothered by the situation, which I don't know her, I don't know him, so I can't assume one way or another, you know, if she is or she isn't. But what I can safely assume is that no woman wants the entire world to find out about her open relationship under these particular circumstances where the mistress ends up leaking the DMs. The DMs sound very embarrassing, and they also mention his kid. I don't know how much people are talking about that part, but something about that still doesn't sit right with me.
I don't think they cheating because they got some kind of understanding. It's really just that in the press, it looks bad. Yeah. That's what you said.
Yes, and it is embarrassing.
Yeah, and she might say she's not bothered, but I'd be willing to bet money that she probably laid into him when this shit came out.
Friends and family, because like even if she has that understanding with Adam,
it's not just your friends and family. Right? Now everybody in your business.
Because even though she has that understanding with him, where she's like, listen, you can go do your dirt, just don't embarrass the family. Having to explain that thing to most normal people is embarrassing because most people don't get it. Okay, she's a Victoria's Secret model. She's been around all these rich dudes her whole life. Probably, okay?
Well, yeah, she's also rich. If she's a Victoria's Secret model, she's been making money off of taking pictures since who knows when. So I think Kevin Samuels, if this is the direction that they're headed, which is, you know, Kevin Samuels says that if a guy makes a lot of money, then the woman should be okay with him cheating and should understand that that's exactly what he's going to do because he's a high value man. He makes a lot of money. And so, not only do I not buy into that argument fully, but I also don't think it necessarily applies in this context. I don't think we know the exact arrangement of their relationship, but I'd be willing to guess that if she's letting him see other people, he's letting her see other people as well, because like I said, they're both rich. I think Kevin Samuels' kind of fucking weird model, which is true in some cases but not in all, it doesn't apply to this one because they're both rich, right, and high status.
So she knows what it is. Okay, so when she's marrying one, I'm pretty sure she's under no illusion about what it's like. They got 2 kids together, they're expecting a third, they're just trying to work through it, they got no issues. What I'm trying to relate to you guys is that a lot of times when we see these cheating scandals, it is what Kevin Samuels used to speak about.
It's a scandal for us. Well, it's a scandal for y'all. we know how it works. It's a scandal for, like, man, you work in
Go for it, tell them.
You work in hotels, you see enough shit that you're like, all right, it'd be like that.
Tell them.
Well, we're not filmed, but we had a Grand Prix here. And I worked in a hotel where people used to stay at.
What kind of people?
Well, drivers. Parties going on. I mean, it'd be like, you're like, oh, all right, your wife is...
Preach reminds me that I need to apply teeth whitener one of these days. I need to reapply some.
Your wife is...
My shit's is getting yellow.
Coming tomorrow. And you... room service. You have to...
Yo.
And then you wonder why they make you sign NDAs, and you're like, oh, room service. Mm-hmm. Where should I put this?
Over there. And it'd be like that. I'm not even joking. Okay.
Not just anybody.
You want to know how not embarrassing people want to be? So there was a congressman, I think he's in a wheelchair, this white dude in the U.S. He was on a podcast, all right, and he was just talking crazy. He was talking about what it's like to be now in Washington, how people invite him to like be swingers with their wives, how congressmen have these huge orgies and sex parties. And, bruv, this dude within the next election cycle got shafted so bad and ostracized by the Republican Party. Why do you think that is? Not because what he said was not true, but because he wasn't supposed to say that shit out loud. There's a kind of unspoken rule, be it with
in any industry
or a lot of the people even living in these kind of like...
I'll say, as someone who hasn't always been great at reading between the lines, I'm better because I'm a little more experienced, a little more mature than I used to be. But as someone who wasn't always mature or experienced, it used to be very difficult for me to like read between the lines. It used to be really tough for me. And quite frankly, we shouldn't have to do that. I wish we lived in a more like direct, blunt, not rude, but like blunt, upfront society. That's why I love the Dutch. If you ever get the chance to meet Dutch people, they're some of the coolest people in the entire world. I would recommend it because they're awesome. So go visit the Netherlands, make friends with a Dutch person because they're awesome. And I usually don't generalize people based on their nationality or where they come from, but per capita, Dutch people are some of the most solid individuals I've ever met in my life. So definitely keep an eye out for them. But yeah, they have a very direct culture. And that's awesome for me because I never have to worry about what someone is thinking. I don't have to worry about like what their customs or norms are because they'll just tell you. And if you're doing something that they think is weird or sketchy or not above board, they'll say that shit flat out. Now, they won't always be right, but they'll say it and you could have a conversation. I love that shit. You know, they'll ask you how much you're making, how much you pay for rent. They'll ask you all types of questions. If you have something hanging from your nose or from your lip, they're going to let you know. If you have a piece of spinach in your teeth, they're going to let you know. If it looks like you're getting a little chubby, they're going to let you know. You know, not to pick on you or anything, but just as a matter of fact.
Fears to the political scene where they don't report on a lot of this stuff because everyone has an understanding. The heads of the newspapers have understandings. The people in power have understandings. It's like, listen, unless something illegal is happening or it's like a conflict of interest, we let it slide. You guys think that because you guys don't hear about these scandals every day or this cheating or infidelity or these like stepping out of marriages that it's not happening? No, it's happening all the time. And everybody knows it's happening in those worlds. They just don't report on it because there's an understanding.
And the thing that happened is, I remember what happened with Bill Clinton? When it happened, I was younger. But then after that, I worked in the industry and stuff. And I reflected on that. And I'm like, it wasn't about that. I don't know why they outed it out like that. But who cares? Because stuff like that's been happening. So why did it get outed?
Well, this goes back to the previous video I was talking about, which is like, you got to be careful so as to like not shit where you eat. So like being careful about creating romantic relationships or having sexual interactions in the workplace or at your school, because shit could get weird real quick.
They outed it out like that, but who cares? And I reflected on that, and I'm like, it wasn't about that. I don't know why.
And you also have to be careful about documentation, you know, and the messages you're sending back and forth to people, because those things never go away. And once one of these scandals comes up and it's found that you were talking dirty or saying something that you just would not want to be revealed in public, that will change people's perception of you, and you can't really control that once it gets out.
Well, the reason this is out like that is because he was an idiot, and instead of going with a professional or somebody who's industry vetted, this moon was in random people's DMs shooting his shot. You were involving normies.
I'm talking about Clinton.
Oh, well, it was at the workplace, and the woman had a lot to say.
Yeah, there you
right?
go.
Again, that's...
Remember, it's the same thing.
You can't...
It's the same thing. It's exactly what you said.
There are ways
you got to be careful, man. And if it gets to a point at the workplace where you really want to date somebody that's there and that needs to happen, man, I would take it slow. I would take it super fucking slow. Super slow. And also ask yourself if that's a job that you would be willing to like lose over your relationship. So if it does get to a point where you're taking it serious, maybe you consider applying to a new job just to prevent things from potentially getting messy. Because it sounds great in theory to like work with your partner, but rarely does that ever manifest in a healthy way. Those relationships where you're colleagues with like the person that you're fucking, right? Like they're working on the floor beneath you or right across a hallway from you, or God forbid in the same office, like shit could get kind of weird. So you might want to time it in such a way where if you're going to shoot your shot with somebody you're working with, you also have other plans in the works.
Make sure everything's kosher. But that's why, remember when we had that discussion with the whole freshman guys, and they're like, we never pay for box, only losers pay for box. And I'm like, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Because if you know anything about dudes who have, or ultra wealthy, one thing they definitely do is they pay for box, or they pay for prostitution, whatever, because they don't want what's happening to Adam Levine, right? The reason why some athletes get outed, every time they get outed as cheaters, you want to know why? It's because they're stepping out of their marriage, not with a professional, but with a regular ass person. When Paul George had his, he decided to take pics and send it to some random broad, and then they got outed. Everyone everywhere out there. You haven't heard a peep from Paul George, but it's not because this dude's not out here doing fuckery. It's because he's learned his lesson, and now he has a professional service. I was talking about in the last video how athletes all use a professional provider to set them up with women, and they just toss the same women around from guy to guy. So bring it all back.
That's
basically,
gross.
And if your argument is, well, these guys don't need to pay to get box. No, they don't. They pay for the other service, the hush service. To grab your shit, shut the fuck up and leave.
I never understood that, like how guys could fuck girls that guys they know have already been with. I guess it doesn't make that much of a difference in the grand scheme of things whether the girl you're with has been with a guy you know or a guy that you don't know. But for me personally, there's just something about that that's just, it makes me squeamish.
That's how they do it. That's
how they have to do it. Or you go the Chris Brown route, where You get a bunch of women thrown into a van. They come by your place. They know where they're going. It's not like throwing like traffic.
Okay, I was like, where are you going?
Hey.
Whoa!
But listen. They go up. They show up to the spot. They sign NDAs. They have all their electronics confiscated, and then it's basically a fest. Yes. Now you might be wondering, that's disgusting. Why would I? Hey, listen. Have you seen Chris Brown fans? A lot of them would jump at the chance. I've seen women say they'll accept getting beaten up if it means he beat that shit up. You feel me? So I'm just saying.
I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're out there
because it was bars.
So
that was.
It's another world. It's another world. I don't think people. So that's why when I hear folks talk about, I would never. Habibi, it's not for you.
They would.
You're not flying in private jets. But I don't care about that. I know you don't care. That's why it's not for you. That's why you weren't invited. Okay. It's another world. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
It is. It's crazy.
Okay. None of these people that you think are faithful are faithful.
World.
None of them. I used to believe that as well. And then I met the industry person who sets up a lot of these dudes. He's like, this client. I said, nigga, who?
Nigga, what?
But I thought he loved Jesus. He says, yes, on weekdays. I said, oh, shit. Guess it's Satan on Sundays. So, it's a different world. That's what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say.
And that's why I'm saying it's none of your business, because it's not.
Yeah.
None.
Yeah.
Of y'all business, because y'all move differently, and that's okay. It's alright as long as it's not illegal. But it's really that. It's really that. And if someone wants to start things and ruin you, whatnot, they're gonna try to do it. Yeah.
It's like that whole Kevin Hart scandal happened, and then everybody went, "Oh, I can't believe it." It's like he cheated on his first wife, then cheated on the second one. But if you're honest, you already know he was doing a whole lot more the entire time. It's just that he had a family-friendly image, and that needs to be maintained. So when he got messy, it caused a lot of problems. That's it.
Money.
The people who get involved with these athletes and these celebrities and these politicians know what it is. They're doing it for a quick check. The athletes and all of them know what it is, and the wives know what it is. They either have a "don't tell me, I don't want to see it" policy, or they're like, "keep me in private, but don't make sure any shame brings up." That's it. It's an arrangement.
Yep.
And so that's why whenever I hear people talk about love and then they point to celebrities like Beyonce and Jay-Z and all of them, let me tell you, if you think those people are faithful, you are fucking delusional. Don't hold any of these relationships that you see in the public sphere.
Hold on, who's Beyonce's facilitator? I need to get in touch with them.
It's all fluff and images for social media. That's all it is.
Hey, I want that Will and Jada love.
No, you don't want that.
Bitch, I hope you're ready to go bald. It's alopecia. No, bitch, you just bald. Stop.
He's stupid. Stupid. All right, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed this reaction. Please comment, like, and subscribe. If you did, I will see y'all next time. Peace.